This is where live experiences come to life. From game day to sold out shows, where moments turn into memories and the real stories happen behind the scenes. The people, the access, and the hustle behind it all. This is Take a Savvy Seat. All right, I want to welcome everybody to Take a Savvy Seat. I'm Tommy Gucciardo, your host. This is where sports, business, and fans collide. This episode is a really special episode. This is, this month is Men's Mental Health Month, and, something that I struggle with on a daily basis, keeping, running a business, running life, and, things get tough. And sometimes as men, we don't share everything. And we have a really special guest here. He's going to talk about a lot of stuff that's really important. We got Bernard Q. He's a transformational coach, but he also has some other stuff going on in his life that we're going to talk about today, and I welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
All right. Maybe tell us a little something about yourself. Now, I know a little bit about what happened recently in your life, and, I know your brother took his own life, and, for me, I didn't know him, but, Dave, Amber, there's a lot of people in my community that knew him, and, I saw tons of pictures of him, and, he was, I felt like, he was the light of the party, right? He had a beautiful smile. He had a beautiful life. He did a lot of great stuff, but yet he struggled, right? And like a lot of men do. I know me personally, I struggle on a daily basis, with business, with life, and just keeping normal. And I don't know who to talk to sometimes. And, you're a transformational coach. How did that affect you, and how did you deal with that? Did he talk to you? Did he come to you? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the hardest things, because from the outside looking in, you would have never guessed him, right? There's so many signs and there's so many things that a lot of people portray that lead to this kind of situation, but, you have the few anomalies, like Robin Williams is one of them. Nobody would have expected that.
Right.
Same thing with my brother, the biggest smile in the room, just the greatest personality. This kid literally loved every single person that he was ever around.
Yeah, you could see that. You could see that as part of him.
Yeah, and the craziest part about it was, it's not like he didn't even talk about this. A lot of times people, or men especially, are too scared to open up their mouths and say, hey, I need help, I need help. David was actually talking about it.
Okay.
During the end, he, little too late.
Right.
But he was talking about it. And so I spent 4 days with him, 4 days before he lost his battle to depression. But I spent 4 days with him, me and my family, and it was obvious it was off. I remember him at moments where he would just loop, and the conversation sounded like he was on repeat.
Right.
As opposed to really having a cognitive conversation with me. And it was killing me, because I'm trying to deploy all of the things that I know, all of the techniques that I've known, all of the things that I've learned that have helped me from it. Because in 2021, I too was suicidal. I was literally every moment this close. I can't tell you how many times I was driving down the highway in my EV at 130 miles per hour, just thinking, hey, if I let go of the wheel, this could all end.
Right.
And it wouldn't be something that kind of forced. It could look like an accident. It could look like any one of these things. But outside of me having kids, I don't think anything else would have stopped me.
Right.
Right. But because I even thought about it, I was like, if I pass away and it was just my wife, she's financially set. She's good to go. She'll be fine. She'll be able to break out of this and stuff. But the kids made such a huge difference for me. And do I believe that the kids would have made a difference for David? Yeah, definitely. I definitely do. At this point, though, it was just him, right? He had the support of thousands.
Yeah, you could see by his community. He had people in his life.
It's unbelievable, the amount of people that loved him. But the truth is, on the same token, it was the amount of people that he truly loved. David showed up for everyone.
Right.
Man, and that kind of weight, whew, could you imagine?
That's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
I was getting stories from so many people of things that he would do in the way that he would show up that I wouldn't even do for one person.
Right.
There's things that he did. One of the ones that really hit me the hardest was when they said, it was a day that he was going to work all night at Porta. It was our wedding night. And, we no expectations, right? You send him the invite because it's Dave. You send him the invite,
Right.
but the chances of him coming are going to be impossible. Like, it's 2 hours away. Mm-hmm. He showed up for 15 minutes and then left. 2 hours to drive one way to stay.
But that tells you a lot about a person.
That's crazy, though. Like, and if you think about it, sure, that'd be cool if he did that for one person, that special friend, one of your best friends. Like, you had to do that, right? And look, this is before having to work an all-night shift at Porter. I don't know if any of you have seen him at work. It's not normal. He is moving at a speed that is unbelievable. And if you think about the strain on somebody physically, like, think about working a 10-hour shift.
Right.
Could you imagine being at 100 miles per hour that whole 10 hours and doing this 4 or 5 times a week for 15 years straight? And then waking up the next day 3 hours later to do CrossFit?
Right.
And then running his whole day? Because look, it's not like he wasn't just it wasn't like he wasn't just showing up for his job. He had multiple businesses. Mm-hmm. He had family. And then the way that he loved on his friends, it'd be fine if he neglected all those other things to just focus on that. And we're just talking bartending.
Right.
Right? Like, fine. That's sustainable. But he was literally doing this for all of them, all the time, nonstop. And unfortunately, he didn't know how to take off the cape.
Right.
He could not do it. He did not want to let anybody down.
Sometimes as men, we try to do everything for everybody else to hide what's going on with us, right? Like the pain that we're going through.
Right.
So we're putting it to other people. I'm helping you, I'm helping you, I'm helping you. And it makes me feel better, and it takes away from, what I got going on.
Right.
So, and then when you sit by yourself alone, after that's all over, that's when everything sits in. So I guess that's why he ran all the time, right? Like, that's why he's always moving. That's why he was doing that.
Nonstop. And that's the crazy thing, though, because he didn't neglect any aspects of it.
No, he was there for people.
That was the craziest part. And look, he showed up for me and my family. Like, the 4 days that I was there, he was trying his best to be fully present, trying his best to spend time with my 2 babies, and just really love on them, smile on them. He would sit down and play Uno with us. Wow. He really just wanted to be involved, even though he knew he had to go to work the next night. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy how he was able to manage all those things. But again, the weight of all of it finally crushed him.
Right. Now, I know you said you felt some stuff was off. You felt him, he was in a loop.
Yeah.
Did you think that he was going to take his own life?
Hell no.
It wasn't even in the thought, right?
No. Not that it wasn't in the thought. It just wasn't going to happen to him.
Right.
There's no way it was going to happen to him. Look, my sister got postpartum and also was at a suicidal stage. It runs in our family, which is actually crazy, right? Like, my sister, when she had her daughter, went into a really deep postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. Me, in 2021, went into that whole suicidal split where if it wasn't for my kids and for the friends and family that were praying heavy for me, I wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
I believe in 2022 or 23, my brother, Michael, the other one, also went to the deep, dark depression. Now, between all 4 of us, me and Michael, we would be the ones that you would be like, I'd bet on both of them. They would be the ones to do it, right?
Right.
Like, me and Michael, definitively the most destructive capabilities within the family. Mm-hmm. David, he was a light, always a light and a beacon. My sister, same thing, generosity and a light. So those 2 were the surefire, they're going to make it out of this. Right. Me and Michael, we are the ones that were like, yeah, right. And for me, if it wasn't for my kids, I would have been curtains. Mm. So David, when he was going through this, I mean, look, we knew he was struggling. We knew he was having a hard time. He was talking about it. He was back on meds. He was talking to a psychiatrist. We were trying to switch into something that could give him some sleep. Like, the problem this time was he was not getting any sleep. The 4 days I was there, he was averaging an hour a night of sleep.
You can't live like that.
You cannot. Like, I mean, it
now
was
your mind
driving
is
him insane.
all over the place. You're constant, because his mind must have been racing as it was. Mm-hmm. So that 1 hour was probably the only peace he got. And then when he gets up, it's like constant on the go again.
Yep. And it wasn't anything that he could stay asleep through. It would always wake him up. And then the worst part is the anxiety was affecting his breathing, the cortisol dump. I mean, it was just running through his body. He was on adrenaline every single moment. And it was to the point where he was having such a hard time just thinking straight. He couldn't think straight anymore. He was in a loop. And he just couldn't even function properly anymore. But yet, even in that, he still tried to show up. That night, that Tuesday night, I spent my birthday with him. That Tuesday night before that, he even ended up working at Bar A. That Saturday, right before that, he ran a 5K. Like, there's just no stopping on him. There's no stopping on him. And in this case scenario, man, like, even in the concept of what happened, right? The reason I'm starting this Don't Quit Legacy Foundation, which is DQ, Don't Quit, is because I don't believe my brother quit, right? Like, if somebody dies from cancer, we don't go, oh, he quit and died. If somebody dies from a heart attack, we don't go, oh, they quit and died. Mental illness has the same impact. It is an illness that takes your life. It is not Look, when we think about it this way, right now, the prefrontal cortex, that's the part of our brain that makes decisions. That's the part of our brain that thinks clearly, that could feel love, have fun, all the different things. Whenever we get caught in survival mode, triggered, back in the day, you've heard it called the lizard brain, or it's the amygdala, right? It's the survival brain that only has 3 functions. 3. That's fight, flight, or freeze. That's it. That's all it's capable of doing. The problem is, once you get out of your prefrontal cortex, you're in a cortisol dump. Everything in your body is on fire. This is what creates all the anxiety. He was trapped here. We were trying to use all the modalities that could help somebody shift their state from this position back to here, and none of it was working. He was trying it. While I was there, he was trying a few of them, but none of them were pulling him out of here. He was in a trapped loop back here. The problem is, with those 3 options, you got fight, flight, or freeze. David didn't fight. He wasn't the type that would hurt anybody. You see the people that get trapped here, they hurt other people. They kill other people. When they're caught in that mental illness level where they are capable of now just hurting everybody else, that's because their modality of survival is fight. Then you've got the people that are freeze. They withdraw. They can't do anything. They literally completely shut down. Obviously, he doesn't shut down. I don't even think the kid had an off switch, right? And the problem is, the last one is flight or escape. Literally, in his mental illness, that was the only thing his brain was now telling him to do. So it wasn't a situation where I actually know David didn't make a cognitive decision from the prefrontal cortex into doing this. This was something where, in his consistent state of survival, one of the 3 options that he had, he only had one. And so that was still an action of his mental illness, not him.
Right.
And so if a lot of people have questions, why would he choose to? He didn't choose to do that. That was the mental illness. Just like nobody chooses to have cancer and allow it to kill them.
Right.
It's the same thing that happens here. And I don't think enough people have the awareness of that kind of damage with mental illness.
Yeah, I mean, mental illness, it's scary. You were talking about sleeping 1 hour. I mean, there's sometimes nights I sleep 2-3 hours, and then I wake up and I have a thought, and then it goes into another. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark. It's and you're sitting there, and your mind. You talked about your mind start getting in that loop and getting crazy. You never know what could happen from there. It's just things happen. Your brain starts talking to you, and next thing you know, and you're like, I'm not worth it. I'm not here. Life's not worth it, and it's you make that next step, and it's scary. It's scary.
And the crazy thing is, without the prefrontal cortex at play, hope doesn't exist.
Right.
Hope doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because I've been in that place. I've been in those dark places, using drugs, being in fucked up situations, and business not going good, life not going good, and you never know, man. You're like, and then you talk about your kids. I always think about my kids. Like, part of me says to me, like, if I wasn't here, like my kids will find out all about all the fucked up shit I've
Oh,
done.
jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not here to protect it. You know, and that's the craziness. That's where your mind goes. You don't realize it, like the way your mind thinks when you get caught up in the grips of the mental illness, the no sleep, what do I got to do today? How do I get through today? Once all that stuff starts kicking in, you're on like autopilot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's scary, man.
And the problem is the pilot is dangerous.
Yes, 100%.
Like, don't get it twisted. If we go into our alligator brain, right, where we were in a situation that required survival, we could run real fast. It pumps the adrenaline into our body to make sure that we get the right oxygen and our bodies and our muscles is ready to go, even if it needs to give us strength. But that's for short bursts. Right. That's all that's for, so that you could escape, you could fight something, or you could silence your heart and everything like that in the situation where there might be danger.
Right.
Right? But to have that as a constant loop, constant cortisol dump, constant adrenaline dump, constant no capability of thinking straight anymore, and the only thing that's cycling in your head is everything that you're fearing, I can't even imagine what it must have felt like for him when he finally was walking through that final decision.
Right. Maybe it was relief.
Yeah.
You don't know, right? Like maybe it was relief. I finally know what I have to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the scary part because, like you said, how much he gave to other people. Mm-hmm. And you don't probably realize it, like when you're in that position, like at that last moment, you're not thinking about all the people that love me or care about. You just want that little sense of, I feel good right now. And
and it's survival at that point. And his survival required pain to dissipate.
Right.
And the pain got to a point where it was way too much, and the only thing that his brain was telling him survive is actually the complete opposite.
And I think there's, probably a lot of people that go through the same thing on a daily basis. And, you just talk to people. And there's so much depression, and there's so many people that suffer from mental illness or addiction, right? It doesn't have to be, drugs or alcohol. It could be, sex. It could be spending money. It could be, overeating. Like, that's our society.
Right.
And not enough people go for the help, to get better with it. And that's the scary part of life, man. That we don't know how to talk about it. Like, men don't know how to talk about it. Younger people don't know how to talk about it, and I'm glad there's a guy like you out here that's doing some sort of, charity and some sort of foundation to show that we shouldn't quit.
Well, yeah, and more so than just a charity, this is literally going to fund support groups for men,
right,
as well as women. I mean, my wife runs a weekly call every Wednesday to support women right now that are struggling through whatever level they're going through. This is something that we've been doing for the past 3 years.
Right.
So this isn't something that just came about. I'm not going to lie to you, though. When this happened, I went into an angry spiral.
Right.
Because it was like, what am I doing all this shit for?
Right.
Like, what am I doing all this for? Helping so many other people that at that moment I felt like I could even care less about you right now. Like the one person that I would care about the most, I couldn't help him, and I was there for 4 days. Are you kidding me? I was like everybody else.
Listen, I could help you. I know I could help you. I know I could help you. I can help anybody. But the hardest thing is to help your own self.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part of it.
Yeah, it was.
Like I give great advice, but I don't follow any of my advice. I mean, I could give you the best advice. I can get you promoted. I can get you the best business. I can get you a girlfriend, but I can't do it myself.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because, that's the way we are. I mean, it's just, life is crazy. Life is crazy. Yeah. But, so you said you were angry.
It's definitely angry.
Were you angry at him?
No, see, and that's the craziest part too. A lot of people.
Because I know some people get like, I'm mad at you for doing that.
How could you do that? Right. How could you do that? For the first time in my life, there was compassion and empathy. And it's funny because one of the things that we talk about in the coaching field, especially in regards to me, do I have high competency? Insanely so. Mm-hmm. Do I have compassion? It's non-existent. was literally one of the comments that kept coming back up in the way that I would coach people. I didn't have compassion. And the craziest thing is, it was the thing that I was working on hardest this last year and a half.
Take your time.
I had no clue that this was what was going to teach it to me. And I wish it was a different lesson for it. Because I'm still battling with the fact of whether or not it was worth the cost.
Yeah. But I think if you know something like I said, I don't know him, but I know the person that he is, and he want you to keep moving forward.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, I'm not stopping.
He want you to go out and help somebody else.
Yep. And the calling's been there. For the first time, I actually care.
Right.
And that's the blunt truth. I tried to care. I tried to learn how to care. I didn't.
Sometimes you get caught in a business or a job and you're just going through the motions because that's what you're supposed to do. But now maybe maybe there's something that's going to take it to the next level. Maybe you'll help somebody else or another family or another person.
Already a lot. And even in the process of me doing it in a competent fashion, I was helping a lot of people. You know, we've been, me and my wife have been able to support marriages to make it through divorces. You know what I mean? And prevent them from going down that route. Another one of them just literally told my wife, had it not been for you, we wouldn't be celebrating this anniversary. And so we've definitely made an impact. But again, my care quotient before this happened, on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 4 or 5, realistically. And then now my heart breaks for all of it. And it's crazy because I've cried more in the last 4 weeks than I probably have my whole life. Nothing has ever hurt me this way, ever. And I've been through the shit, man. 14 years of meth addiction. I've hurt a lot of people. People have tried to hurt me. I mean, I lost my mom in 2017. I've lost so many other friends to suicide and drug overdoses. And none of it has come close to this. He was literally the favorite of all favorites, even in my own family. We couldn't even be jealous about him being mom's favorite because he was also my favorite.
Right, exactly.
And then my sister's favorite.
Right.
Then my brother's favorite. And my dad's favorite. So you couldn't even get mad at mom treating him the best out of all of us. You know, because, well, he freaking deserved it, in everything. And he was always the superstar at everything, too. But instead of being a conceited son of a, right? He was the kindest about it. Few things, during my meth addiction, I stole his PlayStation so I could sell it for drugs. Mm-hmm. And then he also had one of those coin collections, the ones that you drop all the coins in, and then it separates all of them. He was so proud of that. And he had a bucket of coins right next to it with everything rolled up. Yeah, I stole that too, to sell it for drugs or to use it for drugs. And his response was, Big Brother needed it. What? Are you kidding me? I would have smashed somebody for that shit.
Right.
And that was his response about me? The hardest part about all this is really picturing those last moments. It loops in my head. And I just wish I was there. I just wish I was there. We left 4 days before this happened. Had I known this was even close to remote, we wouldn't have ever left. We would have stayed there with him the whole time. And I have the capacity to do that. You know? I would have stayed there the whole time.
Yeah,
it's
but,
crazy.
You can't beat yourself up over that.
I don't.
That's just it
I
happened.
don't, but it hits like a baseball bat every so often. Most of the time, I get into a numb state where I could just function. And the good thing is I have literally established so many consistent daily actions that are non-negotiables for me that keep my life insanely solid.
Right.
So I get it. There's waves that hit, but you're coming up against an aircraft carrier.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's not going to, but here's the craziest thing. This aircraft carrier all of a sudden has a soft heart now. I didn't even know that was going to exist for me ever. Like my wife was literally on the verge of trying to buy me a puppy. Like to see if
Give
I
you
could.
something to like.
Yeah. To have this level of empathy.
And love a puppy.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, look, I loved my kids like crazy. I loved my wife like crazy. But again, empathy for other people just didn't exist for me.
I feel you. I get that. I understand that.
But I knew I needed it, right? Especially if I'm doing coaching and I'm trying to help somebody transform their lives.
Right. You need a little compassion, a little empathy. Just a touch, right?
I was the hard hammer on
but sometimes people
coaching.
Need that.
Sometimes you're absolutely
people need
right.
that. Sometimes people need that, not hold your hand through everything.
Nope.
They need to be like, listen, this is what you have to do.
No, and that's why there's definitively, some of my clients that are my favorite.
Right.
And the other ones I can't stand. I mean, let's just be real.
Maybe you should edit that out.
No. Real talk. They know this. I tell them.
No, I know.
I tell them straight up. I'm like, I can't stand the fact that you don't want to take action on your life. But now there's actually a compassion where it helps me understand that there is something deeper going on. It is not the fact that they don't want to take action in their life.
They're not ready for it, maybe.
And they're incapable at this current capacity. So do I then, without compassion, just leave them and dump them? Or come from a place of really caring about them and their outcome and just meet them where they are? I was never the type that wanted to meet somebody where they are. I saw point Z, and you're still sitting here trying to fumble through from point A to point B. I'm trying to show you. It's actually kind of easy if you just shift your gaze here, but they don't have the capacity to, and I used to have very little patience for it.
I mean, if you use yourself as a barometer, right? Like you had to have something to get you past there. They might have not got that push or that jolt that they need to get past B and C so they can get to Z.
Right, and this one was letter D for
Right.
me, and losing it for me to actually learn that.
But now it's going to help you help other people. There's always a bright light.
Always a bright light after. And the biggest one for me is, right, and I'm not going to try to turn this into a religious conversation,
Whatever
but
you want to go with it.
God has definitely helped me in my life. Shoot, I'd be a destructive mofo right now if it wasn't for God in my life. And when this happened, my first instinct was going into biblical verses where he talks about God meets you when you're weakest. And I was mad. I was like, well, then why didn't you meet him? And I was wrestling with that question, fighting with that question, fighting with even wanting to believe in God after that. My faith was shaken at that moment, or angered, or whatever. I wasn't even sure anymore. But I still kept running, asking questions, reading my Bible on a daily basis, trying to find answers, all of these different things. And it wasn't until I flew out to Jersey the Monday before his memorial. It was the 24th. I was sitting there at the airport terminal waiting for boarding, and I'm on the sideline just angry, not even sad. Like, I'm not sad, I'm not crying, I'm angry. And I'm still asking the questions as I'm about to fly out to New Jersey to handle this and have to face this, and I'm mad. And, I'm questioning God, like, why did you leave him? Why did you forsake him? Why did this? And finally, I get this gentle nudge over my whole, everything, where it was like, I never left your brother. I called him home. And that shit destroyed me, and it still does. Every moment that I think about that, because it's like, got it. And he followed up with, he's now with your mom. That was mom's favorite. They're now laughing with me. He's not going through the pain anymore. The only one that's selfish right now is you for wanting to have more time with him while he's absolutely dying there. Mm-hmm. There was nothing else that this world could offer him. The only thing he needed left was me. And I called him home. And that shattered me. And the craziest part about it was, in that 4 days that we were there, me and my wife wake up and my kids, we do Bible study together. Mm-hmm. We were doing it at his table in his dining room. And on the last day, the Thursday before that Monday, that, the biggest catalyst and impact hit, my wife was like, hey, why don't you ask him to join us? And I'm like, I don't think he's going to join us for Bible study. My brother's a heathen. Right. No, I'm joking about that. He is the sweetest boy in the world, but, he wanted to. He actually wanted to. And Ed sent me copies of his journal that he had. And the final thing that he wrote on there was, read more scriptures after what happened there. So to me, I was really, really, really grateful that we had that opportunity to be able to spend those last 4 days with him, because before that, I think the last time I saw him was in 2023.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When we all went on a family vacation to Hawaii. And normally him and my other brother come to Colorado every year to spend 4 or 5 days with me so that we could go on excursions like ATVs and eat really good food and take really amazing hikes, because Colorado is phenomenal for that, right? But the last 3 years, ever since he launched Speed Tin, he hasn't had the time, especially with all the stuff that he was going through. So, I haven't seen him. And to have those 4 days was probably one of the best gifts I could have probably gotten in for this year. Especially before that, because if I hadn't seen him since 23 or been able to even spend a little bit of time and knowing that he was going through this, that would have probably put insane levels of regret and
hell yeah. Are your other brother and sister around here?
Yeah.
So he spends time with them too?
Mm-hmm. He spends a lot of time with them. Unfortunately, 20 years ago, I had to leave because of my meth addiction. And I spent the last 20 years taking care of me. Mm-hmm. Not so much selfishly, although there was definitely selfish tendencies with it, but it was more so I had to, or else I would have destroyed everything around me. And I was destructive to my family. There was nothing healthy about what I was doing towards my family. I was the black sheep of the family. I was the one that was actively affecting them in ways that, I was an absolute shithead. And
that's what happens when you're in the grips of addiction.
Yeah. And I spent the last 20 years surrendering my life to God and literally transforming everything, and built such an amazing life out there in Colorado. But here, even in that, I would trade all of it in a freaking heartbeat for one more day, because I could get all that back. But I would trade all of it. I would give it all away, and I'd be in debt for the rest of my life if that was the cost, to have one more day with him, let alone him still being here. But again, that's, in this case scenario, if he's truly where I believe he is and at peace now, then that would just be my selfish tones.
Did you communicate with him a lot over the years?
Oh, yeah.
Like constantly on the phone, talking and everything?
I designed all of his logos. I helped him through business. Yeah, he would call me for lots of advice. I would call him to help me how to lose weight. Yeah, the kid had freaking abs of an Adonis. Like, it was ridiculous. And the worst part is he would always, I'm fat.
I'm fat.
I'm like, bro, I will kill you. Like, you utter those words again and I will kill you. And then when I was really, really chubby, he would walk around my house with his shirt off. I'm like, my wife is around. Don't do this.
Don't do that.
Don't do this. But that's just how he did. You know what I mean? Like, he would always just run around with a shirt off, always going to CrossFit. I mean, like, everybody, there's a CrossFit box, like, a few miles from my house. They absolutely love him. Like, he would come and visit to the point where they didn't even want him to pay. They just wanted him to come every time he was there.
Take
but
a shirt off.
Dave will always bless them. Like, Dave don't take freebies.
Right.
Dave doesn't want freebies. Dave wants to support your business. That's another thing. I got another story from somebody who has an HVAC company, who started an HVAC company, and David just bought his new house, and David calls him in for a servicing, and the guy gets there, he's like, what do you mean? Like, this is brand new. He goes, I know, I just wanted to support your business.
Tells you a lot about him.
Like, who does that? Like, I'm the dude that'll be like, you got me?
Right.
Discount, huge discount. And then I realized through David, like, nah, that's not how we need to operate, man. Like, if your friend's got a business, don't ask for a discount. Tip big.
Right.
That's your friend's business.
Of course.
Help them out big time. Like, and I learned that in the past 3-4 years. Actually, same thing with tipping. Man, I'm a judgmental mofo. If you don't fill up my water, you get in the crappiest tip in the world. And my brother caught me doing that. And he was like, what are you doing? And because he had worked at Cheesecake Factory and worked in the service industry for a very long time. And he was like, bro, don't do that. He's like, you've got the money, bro. Don't do that. And I was like, what do you mean? Bad service? Da-da-da. I'm sitting there. He goes, no, you have no idea what their bad day is like. You have no idea what they're going through right now. And that's just going to help them spiral. You could be the one to change their day. And he was like, so if you can't afford to go eat, which I know you can, and if you can't afford to tip, then don't go out to eat. And I was like, so what do I do if somebody gives me really bad service? He goes, 25% minimum. And then if they give you great one, then tip whatever you feel like tipping drastically. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, tip the whole bill. Tip more than the bill. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try that. Me and my wife started doing that. You have no idea how much you could change somebody's day.
Yeah, of course.
You have no idea how much you could change somebody's, like, just moment from that. They could be having the worst day, and you just became the shift for their day and the catalyst for something better for them to end up their day. And they may have screwed up with you, but I promise they're going to take care of all the other people coming after you. And you're now the catalyst point for that, as opposed to somebody that's just continuing the cycle.
Yeah, you don't realize how you touch people. You know, you hold the door for somebody, you say good morning to somebody, you know, that's having a bad day. You know, you never know what you do to somebody.
No. And it's hard because a lot of times we're having our own battles, our own struggles, right? So it makes it really hard to care about the next person when, hey, I feel alone in my own world right now and everything like that. But it's actually backwards. If you're feeling alone and stuck in your world, do for somebody what you wish somebody would do for you, and that will start the cascade of good things happening, right? But a lot of times we're like, no, I'm waiting for it to happen to me before I extend it to somebody. And these are some of the things that I wish were more normalized, right? The big hugs with random strangers. You know, if that was more normalized, there's so much things that happen to you physically and neurologically when that happens, but we don't even recognize that. And then there's so much stuff that happens to you physically and neurologically when we put up walls with each other. We're actually killing ourselves during that moment. When we're putting up a front, physically, emotionally, everything in our body, and that's why they call it dis-ease. We are not in a state of ease. Constantly. We're playing posturing, we're fronting in front of everybody else, we're pretending to be somebody that we're not, and we're incapable of just being completely vulnerable and then loving on each other for our vulnerabilities and everything that we struggle with. And man, if we just normalized just being real and loving that, I swear there would be such a much happier world. Everybody would be a lot happier.
True. Not to say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, things were different, but, like today.
They were.
Yeah, but still people had problems still.
Right, everybody.
But I feel today, like you were just talking about it, like people being real. Like they could be on social media, be one thing, and then behind closed doors, there's something else.
Right.
And that's a scary part of life. Like we're all constantly trying to people please and make people think that we're something that we're not, instead of being who we are.
Right.
And that hurts the most.
Yeah, the funniest thing is, literally, if we gave everybody the chance, they would actually love the real version of you way more, because it's much more relatable. You can't relate with fakeness.
Right.
You can only admire it until it becomes something that becomes gross, right? If you notice, some of the people that we admire the most, as soon as they make a mess up or the reality shows, all of a sudden we're so sick of them or we judge the crap out of them.
Right.
Had they been real the whole time, we would have compassion for them instead. It's so crazy backwards.
I was just thinking, this is probably the worst thing in the world to have.
At the same time, it could be the best tool in the world. Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, back in the day, I had to get in contact with somebody. I had to walk down the block and ring their doorbell. Like,
the
are you
connection
home?
Was insane.
Now people could text you at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, what's up? It's like,
yeah.
Why?
They say this, that we are living in the most connected world.
And the unconnected world.
Disconnected.
Yep. At the same time.
Completely disconnected.
You know what drives me crazy? If you text somebody and they don't answer, like for a day, like you saw it, your phone's in your hand.
Don't text me then.
Right.
I'm sorry, don't text me.
You don't answer?
No, sometimes, and it's not that I don't answer. When I'm with my family,
yeah, you have to. Right.
I'm not answering.
Right. No,
when
I get
I'm doing my
it.
work, I'm not answering.
No, I get it. But 2 to 3 business days later doesn't count.
Yeah, depends on the business too. And no, not the person. The priority on the text.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, with what happened to Dave, I'm now realigning my priorities to people matter the most, not my business, not my money, not all the things that I used to actually care about most and put before people. And this is the first time that priority shift has taken such a drastic impact point for me, because I've justified, the money being the more important aspect. I'm providing for my family. I'm all this and that. Like, there's so many different things that I could give reason to on doing that, but that literally just creates more disconnection. And being disconnected from the reality of what's actually going on is what causes that. Stuff like that, and the mental illness, where it becomes so hard to get back to reality. I mean, if you think about it, even meds, look, I'm not saying that people don't need meds. Like, meds are keeping some of the people that are struggling with the deepest, darkest depressions alive right now. But unfortunately, they're still keeping them disconnected.
Right.
And until we find ways to really reconnect back to God, back to ourselves, back to who we are, and back to each other, this is going to continue to happen. The more we continue to posture and pretend and not normalize the fact that, hey, listen, I am struggling. We got 2 hands for a reason. One that says, hey, I need help, and the other one that says, I can help. And we're literally both of these people at the same time. A lot of times, especially your strong men, I can help, will never raise their hand to say I need help, because they don't want to look like that weak person in their head. Right. But the truth is, this isn't weakness. Vulnerability is probably one of the greatest strengths that exist right now. But again, so worried about how people will perceive us, and so that prevents us from being vulnerable. And then what? The catastrophes hit. The casualties come into play, whether it's hurting ourselves or hurting the people around us, indirectly or directly. So it's just crazy. And then going through something like this, though, as much as I miss him or miss the opportunities that I could have had with him, right? Like one of the biggest questions I get is, how the hell are you showing up this way when you just lost your brother? Well, I've got two choices at this point. And the good thing is I've been equipped with enough tools to make sure that I don't choose my old modalities, because my old modalities ends up hurting myself, my immediate family, my siblings and my father, and then all of you. Because I will spew hate from my old modalities. But the tools that I've learned and have equipped myself with, I get to choose something different. Now, don't get it twisted. There's times I don't want to choose this. There's times I would rather just...
It's easy to go back to your old ways, and you know how to deal with things, and
but
they don't end up good.
No, and I got two kids, beautiful, beautiful kids. There's just no way.
And then what are you showing them?
Yeah, there's just no way. And so I have two choices, and on a daily basis, I need to run to the Bible, I need to run to prayer, I need to do my workouts, my recovery, my grounding, my breath work, my prayer, my time with my wife, my time with my kids. Those are the non-negotiables. Well, no, those are the non-negotiables for me. Those are the ones that actually give me all the strength in the world. That's before I even start work.
Right.
If I don't get those, I don't start work.
Do you find if you miss something out of there that your day's off?
It's definitely off. It's definitely off. So here's the funniest part. When you just said that, imagine missing the majority of those, and the next thing you know, you've missed it for multiple days. And the next thing you know, you've missed it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. And this is what happens when, like, for example, people miss the gym, or they're working out, or they're eating healthy. What happens?
They start feeling off. They start changing their behaviors.
Same thing with connecting with my wife. If I don't connect with my wife on a daily basis, which happened actually, after this happened, I came out here. My wife came out with me for the memorial, but my kids were staying at home. And so she flew back the day right after the memorial, but I was here for another week. And oh my gosh, the tension that happened during that week with me being out here where I used to be a knucklehead and her being all the way back out in Colorado, and the disconnect, oh my goodness, not having that morning time where we get to meet and just really spend time with each other, because I get up at 5. That's 3 o'clock in the morning over there. She wasn't up yet.
Right.
So there wasn't a meeting time for us to be able to really meet. And by the time she got up, it was already run to the races for me, and it was really, really shaky. So yeah, if I miss these, am I off? You better believe it. I know I'm off now, though.
Right. It's funny though. You can get into a routine. It's hard to get into that routine, but once you break that, it's so easy to break that routine and get back into that old comfortability. And it's just like. For me, it's like doing a couple of simple things, like just making your bed as soon as you wake up.
Yep.
That's like you accomplish something for the day, right? Or it's like, brushing your teeth the first, like just little things trigger the rest of your day.
Right.
And get you into that right mindset of doing things and accomplishing things.
So believe it or not, something as simple as making your bed is one of those cognitive trainings.
Right, exactly.
But now imagine taking it to a next level and doing ones that you've identified literally light your engines on fire.
Yeah.
Or protect your body from whatever you need to, or protect your heart and your mind and your soul from whatever the day brings. Those are the key elements that I've made my non-negotiables, because if I don't do those, I'm now susceptible to whatever the day brings against me.
I find like when I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, my life is so much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It's so much better.
Absolutely.
And as soon as you start breaking some couple of things here and there, that's when your day gets disjointed and you start doing things, you're running on your own will, not on, how you should be running.
Right. And you say, you're running on your own will. I say I'm on God's will.
Right.
And it's crazy because when I am on God's will, then
things are good.
Things just happen in ways that I can't even explain, that makes it show that it wasn't me.
When I run on Tommy's will, not too many good things happen.
Yeah, my friends used to call it B mode. When I run on B mode, it seems like I'm getting shit done.
No, but you're not.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's all fake.
Well, I mean, let's just say I am on a linear basis, right? I do this, and this is the outcome. 1 + 1 = 2. 3 + 3 = 6. The thing is, when I do what God tells me to do, it's like I do this, and then I do this, and then all of a sudden the outcome is like, how the hell did that happen? That's so amazing. And it makes it very obvious that there was something else at play that I couldn't have controlled. And that's where I get to live now in full command and full surrender. It's a totally different paradigm shift. And it took me 20 years to actually get here.
You got there, though, right?
Yeah, I got there.
Doesn't matter when you get there, as long as you get there.
Mm-hmm. And now, don't get it twisted. I know Dave's here. Like, I actually believe energetically David is in this room right now. And how could he not be if we mention him multiple times? Like, information, like, you know, they talk about matter neither being created nor destroyed, and that's scientifically proven now in multiple aspects. But here's the craziest part, right? Like, if there's so many frequencies that we're not even able of seeing, like we're able to measure this much but see only this much, you know, like you can't see cellular waves right now. You can't see radio waves, but it's here. It's actually happening right now. And how do we know? Well, because there's communication that's happening. Like you could send information from your phone to my phone, and so energy is actually being transferred, and it exists, even though here, let me try to Can you see? Yeah. Can you see the No, not at all. And it's not something that we can experience. But the thing is, at that higher frequency, what if now the people that we've lost in their souls are actually existing within there? And here's the funniest thing. There's so much communication happening, whether it's from phone to phone or radio airwaves to our radios to signs that are very, very evident. And when you know, a lot of times we slough it off because we're like, nah, that can't be real. But when you get multiple confirmations from so many different random directions that land so perfectly, it's like you can either continue to slough it off or you could start mapping the language of it. And if you map the language of it well enough, you might actually hear it clearly and understand it. And that's literally what I'm working on now, because there has been so many signs that are happening that are now being confirmed by hundreds of people that are actually having conversations with me about it. And I'm like, well, you don't even know me. So there's no way you could have known the conversation that I was having in prayer, in quiet time, in times with my wife, for you to confirm that answer for me as if you heard me ask you the question. So there's a lot of that going on, and it definitely gives me peace and solace knowing that he's here still. And yeah.
It's great, you know? Yeah. He's out there protecting you, being with the family.
Right. We call them guardian angels, some people, you know what I mean? But fairy godmothers, whatever you want to call it, right?
Like, all right, whatever it is, right?
Whatever it is. But I believe there's a reality that exists that actually holds that space. And whether or not we're all capable of experiencing it is, you know, I
think you just have to be aware and open to it.
And that's the big part, the awareness point.
Right.
Because I talk about that on my video today, right? Like, for me, becoming aware that God exists in my life has changed the trajectory of everything, right? In Christianity, they call him the good father. Like, imagine being a young kid or a little kid going through a really dark room by yourself. Scary as heck. Mm-hmm. But imagine holding your dad's hand. It doesn't even matter. Dad's hand got you. Mm-hmm. You're good. We're walking through it. It doesn't matter. If my dad's holding my hand as I'm walking through this dark room, I'm good. And that's literally what it feels like now in every aspect of my life, regardless what I'm traversing. And it has made all the difference, even in losing my baby brother.
There's always a blessing.
Always.
You know?
Always. So.
Yeah, I got a little emotional just thinking about it, you know? Yeah. it's tough. You know, loss is tough, but you know, you're looking at it the right way. You know, you're looking at it the right way, that he's here with you, that he's helping you, that he's guiding you.
I could be crazy out of my mind, though, but I'd rather be crazy out of my mind than going crazy and losing my mind.
Right.
Right? I'd rather be in this space and choosing this. And is there a possibility that I'm wrong? Sure.
Of course. But
I'd rather be wrong here. And I believe it more than you could possibly imagine. And the fact is, it is a belief that is creating positive outcomes as opposed to believing in the negativity and creating chaos. So I'd rather find peace here. And, you know, my mom used to talk about how she would talk to God and stuff like that. We used to make fun of her. David was actually, Mom, are you in La La Land? And he would say it so kindly. Me and my other brother, we would not say it kindly. We would be like, Mom, you're effing crazy. You know, and David would be the only one that would actually be kind of nice about it. But yeah, and now it's like I would rather be in La La Land and then doing positive things in the process. Because my mom was a game changer too, just like Dave, gone too soon. She was actually she was such a high impact person for so many people. She started a group called the Samahan Group, which was for all these Filipinos. She's actually the one that created the Mr. Q's barbecue sauce. You know?
Really?
That's why David has her picture on the back of it to dedicate to her legacy. And yeah, with all that being said, such high impact people, both of them, and based on love. So I could choose to go down my destructive path, or I could choose this path. And this is a great redemption story for me, because one of the things that has always been a burden and a guilt factor for me is I've introduced over 60 people to crystal meth. And some have lost their lives from it. And I was the one that introduced them. They were fans of me and my music. And instead of just sharing the music,
you shared the other stuff.
Yeah, well, I had to, because I needed their money. I needed their money to get more drugs. And I literally used and abused so many people in order to get more drugs. And yeah, I actively destroyed over 60 lives back then. And now there's a redemption point to it. And I think that's why this whole thing has come to such a full circle. And it's like, what are you going to do with it from this point? What is any of us going to do with it, right? When we lose somebody this big, or when there's catalyst points or impact points that can fundamentally change who you truly are, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to allow it to make you bitter or leave you battered? Or are you going to allow it to make you better, where you can better other people's lives? And at this point in my life, I just want to better my life and others. That's literally all I care about. I could be broke from this point on, and I'd rather just do that.
Well, that's a good way to end then. We're going to end right on that, because that's the best way to do it. All right. I want to thank everybody for showing up today and listening to our stories. And, you know, this was a very powerful episode today. And if you're a man, woman, doesn't matter who you are, if you have something going on in your life, please reach out to somebody, talk to somebody, and just let it out, you know, because life is too short and too precious. So why don't you tell them where to find you, or about where they can find Don't Quit?
So we are just starting the Don't Quit Legacy Foundation right now. We are building our board members. The funniest thing is my social media is so hard to follow, because it's at Bernard Quisumbing. Good luck.
Yeah, that's good. I think we got to shorten that a little bit.
Yeah, no, so here's the thing. I'm not going to. I'm keeping it by my God-given name. And if people can't find it, I'm sorry, but it's BERNARD QUISUMBING. That's QUISUMBING. So that's at Bernard Quisumbing on all social media platforms.
All right. Well, I'm glad you came here.
Thank you.
I'm glad you talked about your brother.
Thank you.
And once again, thank everybody for showing up, and we'll see you next week.